Welcome to Oh Hell No with Nicole.
Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of the Oh Hell No podcast. Today I have Steve Cuoco. Did I say it right?
You did.
I'm the best. Public relations extraordinaire. That's what I'd like to call him because he's had this fabulous career for a very long time. And today we are going to get up close and personal. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I feel good.
Great. So, when you were growing up, what did you envision yourself doing as an adult to earn money?
To be honest, have my own television show.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So you saw yourself on TV having your own show.
Absolutely. No different than Oprah or even maybe something what Ryan Seacrest does.
Did you ever share that with anyone growing up?
Oh, my family will know it. I was very theatrical when I was a kid. Very loud, very expressive, very creative, always doing something, creating something.
Oh, okay. So that's great then. Mm-hmm. All right. So you have this fabulous career, what I'd like to call fabulous, because I did a little bit of public relations and it did not pan out for me, as you can see. So I want to ask you, what do you think makes you so good at what you do?
Well, let's start off to say it did pan out because you've got your own radio show.
True.
So
I guess
yes.
You're right. Well,
yes.
Somehow, some way, right?
Yeah. Repeat the question again.
All right.
Because I just caught that of what you said about you, and I was like, no, you're doing it too.
Yes, I love how you're bigging me up. Thank you. I need it. Mm-hmm. So I said, what do you think makes you so good at what you do?
For me, mm-hmm. It's all about value, trust, and honesty, and that's my passion. And I hope that is what, allows me to be good. If not good, then let's say great at what I do.
Okay. So what was your first public relations position?
For a video, back when videotapes were the most popular before DVDs, for a public relations for this company. It was a video production company. It was in South Carolina. And I started when I was 17. We ended up moving. My dad was in the military, but I was there for like over a year, and they loved how I implemented strategies. It was back then, movie posters were everything, how you displayed them, the casing, the marketing. I would say that was my first official gig.
Nice. So with this first gig, what do you think aligned for you so that you were able to get life-changing opportunities throughout your career? Because I call them life-changing opportunities. Some people are lucky where they get a job and they get the right supervisor or manager that kind of helps them along the way, and then an opportunity comes up and then it goes to that person, and then they just keep like getting these amazing opportunities that just pushes their career forward. So what do you think happened for you that just propelled you, further and further into this career that you have?
Honestly, it's being strategic. Establishing the right relationships with the right people and the right resources. And if something wasn't in alignment, meaning if there was a person or a resource or an opportunity that was limited, lacked growth or expansion, I knew I had an expiration date, because I'm someone that does, I think beyond a limited mindset.
Wow, I like that. Yes, strategy is everything, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you dislike the most about what you do? Is there anything? Nothing?
Nothing. There's nothing at all that I dislike, because it's my passion. And I will have to say, to answer that, if I were to dislike something, is if I'm not living in my passion.
Oh, wow. Wow. Let me tell you what I disliked about public relations. So when I worked at this little boutique agency, they had me doing, I had an account. It was the US Virgin Islands account. And I had to write these reports every week, just telling the client what, went on with the account. I dreaded these reports every week because I just felt like I was not good at it. And every time I turned it in, there was always the red pen all over my report and I'd have to do it again. It wasn't the right way. It wasn't right. It was just terrible. I hated that.
So here's two key or I would like to say two golden nuggets you got from that. One is you learn how to self-edit. So now you're able to make really good decisions for yourself now, and especially what you're doing with your radio show and anything else that you're doing of your own personal branding and marketing. And then at the same time, you have developed, an additional sense of sensory, so that if something doesn't feel right or look right, you're going to know to implement those additional strategies to take a moment, take a breath, reflect, ask yourself appropriate questions, and then go back to it. And then, once again, self-edit. We always, and you most definitely will continue to self-edit. So look at it that at the time it was like an oh hell no moment.
Yes, it was.
But if you consider it now, we all have to self-edit, no matter who you are, what industry you're in. So that's that. If you can take that and consider that, and somehow implement, that experience, bring it into the positive for you now.
I love that. I love that you take everything and somehow put a spin on it to make it a positive or something that serves your life. I love that. That's my goal, to be able to do that always. So I love that about you. And I love that you keep saying radio show. Damn it. Oh, hell no is a radio show, people. It's a movement.
Yes.
Steven said it.
Well, here's something. And I'm not here correcting you. What I'm doing is I would like to accentuate what you said. What you're doing is not a movement, because movement, that word is attached to things that are political. What you're doing is you're creating a platform of personal and visual expression of self, and the value that coincides with marketing, the integrity of presenting who and what you are, and living through and of your core values throughout the expressive process and the people that you meet.
Yes.
And I just winged that. So
eloquent. Yes, people. It's a platform. Yeah, I like that better. Yeah, that's better. It's not a movement.
That word is like so taboo to me. It's just it's used all the time in marches and political statements. And for you, you're not doing a movement. You're creating inspiration.
I am. Yes. I'm inspired now. I feel inspired. So what do you enjoy the most about what you do? I know you love what you do, and you have a good time every day no matter what, but what do you look forward to the most?
New opportunities, being surprised, and those unexpected moments.
Oh, most people would shy away from that, or be like, I don't want anything to happen that's not supposed to happen. And, so that's pretty adventurous of you.
To be honest, I find most situations very predictable. And I'm very grateful to say that. At one time in my 20s, I was not very grateful to say that I was happy that it was predictable. However, to hone in on that gift, it really is a gift. It's a golden nugget to have, because the creative process and allowing the flow to unfold without controlling, manipulating, or coercing it all the time, what usually goes with marketing and advertising, and sometimes with public relations, depending on if you're handling image, or if you're maintaining or somehow situating certain situations that are hazardous. I would say that when it's not predictable, I embrace it. so very much because it gives me something to look forward to that I'm not in control of. And once again, I'm going to say it's probably taken me over 15 years to come to that place of peace.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Some people have to be in control. I used to be like that. I enjoy not always being in control because once again, I find most things predictable.
Right.
And I value when they are not. I like it when someone does something I least expect in a very good way or surprise. I love it when someone takes ownership from something that I'm sharing and implement it and then be able to take it much bigger and do greater things with it because now they're owning the process. Because once again, what we are supposed to do is guide and consult through the process. The client is always supposed to own the process. If the client is not owning the process, then they're never really going to be able to enjoy the fruits of their labor. Simple as I can put it.
Great. That's great advice. You're dropping gems over here on Oh Hell No.
Well, we don't want any more oh hell no's.
No, we don't want any moments like that.
But you're going to get them, I'm sure.
Yes. So, what have you sacrificed for your career? I feel like whenever you have a career that you pour yourself into when you're living your purpose, there's always a sacrifice. It could be a small thing, it could be your time, it could be a big thing like having children, or like Oprah Winfrey, she doesn't have any kids, and because she has this big career and she doesn't have time for that or whatever she said. But what would you say is you have had to sacrifice for your career?
I'm going to honestly say I haven't sacrificed anything. And to bounce off of that, what do I mean by I haven't sacrificed anything is because even through the most toughest time, whether it be emotional or mental, doing something I really didn't want to do, but I did it because I knew it was the right thing, whether it's going back to college or holding, using self-control of something I wanted to say but didn't say it. It's really about self-regulating. So that's it. It's just self-regulating. And when I self-regulate, it just helps to not have regretful moments.
Okay. All right. I'll accept that. Has anything ever happened professionally that made you rethink your career choice?
No.
Wow, that's really good. Like you've never had a moment where you're like, why the hell am I doing this again?
No.
Can somebody remind me?
Nope. Every day it is affirmed. And when I say every day is affirmed that I'm in the right position I'm in. And it's been that way for 24 years.
Oh my God, you're blessed. Seriously. So what is something that you see in new clients who are new to the business that you no longer see in seasoned clients? If there's anything that you can identify that you see, could be fire, could be passion, could be control, any little thing.
I'm going to honestly say to reconstruct that question is the similarity is the drive and a passion is always there. The only thing that fluctuates is the intensity. That's the best way I can answer that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I get that. Yes. Okay. So do you prefer to work with very famous people or people who are just starting out?
Either or. It all depends on the person and their passion.
Okay.
What will deviate it? It doesn't matter whether you are a beginner, intermediate, seasoned, or completely professional. Anyone at any given time can lose spirit in the business.
Yeah. I'm sure, especially in entertainment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there anything else that you are passionate about besides public relations?
Alone time.
Oh, you're a loner, huh?
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's all about having that reflection.
Yeah, I like alone time sometimes too. Okay, so what is the most challenging part of your, business? Let's say that.
I would say for me, to be quite honest, is to be patient with people who do not get on a phone and that just text and email.
Oh, but that's how it is now, right? Like
It's
just
unacceptable and there's no excuse for it because what I do in PR, I have to verify. And I cannot verify or validate someone or something or a brand unless I have tangible interaction with it.
yeah, I know. I'm old school. I like to touch it, talk on the phone, whatever. I mean, now I do text too, but yeah, I get it. Especially with what you do. It's important. When you want to pursue something new or get into a new sector or, expand your business because he has his own company, right?
United Angels Dream.
Yep. Put it out there. That's right, Stephen. And when you have your own business, you constantly have to, be creative. So when you are being creative and expanding, when you're faced with challenges, how do you work through them?
Breathe. It's not a cliche. Seriously, it's breathing. There are many people I know of, not just in the entertainment industry, but people who are authors, musicians, even a professor that I've collaborated with, people in the medical field that do transcendental meditation. Now, I'm not suggesting for them to do this, but really, breath work, scientifically, breath work helps to ease stress. And the simplest way is, and to just be on a surface a little bit, is that we have the sympathetic, which is the fight or flight, or the parasympathetic, which is the calming. Seems like it should be reversed, but it's just the way it is. So the trick of it is, or actually it's not a trick, the method to bring yourself into homeostasis out of flight or fight and into calm and peace is to breathe in and then breathe out slower than how you breathe in. So once again, it's breathe deeply down into the bottom, the pit of your stomach, and then bring your abdominal, squeeze it in, feel like you're pushing all of that air out. Without stressing your abs, without stressing your neck or body, just be calm. But once again, to put yourself back into calm, rest, relaxation. When you breathe in, breathe out slower than from how you had breathed. And that's what I do. And that's not transcendental meditation. It is part of their process. But once again, breathing.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to try that the next time I'm faced with a no hell no moment.
Mm-hmm.
Do you because
hey, that shallow breath will get you, Nicole. So, shallow breathing keeps the body in panic mode. So
yeah,
take a moment.
I will. With all this knowledge that you have from being in the business for so long, tell us how many years you've been in the business. So just so people know that you were well seasoned.
24.
Okay. See, that's older than some people. Do you ever see yourself teaching?
I have taught. I had created a business program that was approved by the Accredited Learning Council through Keller Williams Realty, as I also do real estate on the side. Mm-hmm. And my main goal from going in real estate through recommendation is I wanted to teach. I wanted to stick to the core value of what I like to say is not pay it forward. I use the term share it forward. And so today I had taught another class, was scheduled to teach again. And when I was speaking with my sponsor, we have implemented, and he was very inspired from what I had created and designed, and he would like to bring it more into his business. So we're looking at the new year to work more in-house because it's all about networking, doing a B2B, look for those business to business or business to consumer opportunities. But that's no matter what industry you're in, find someone that you respect that is not just there as a friend, but also someone who can challenge you and teach you. And this person's he's in an industry where he can teach me. But also at the same time, he can help take my business. We can help take each other's business to the next level because we're coming in as two powerhouses and being very complementary with each other and to each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, networking, definitely. Mm-hmm. How do you plan out your life? Do you use a vision board? Do you write things down? Or do you just go with the flow?
To be honest, the way I am designed, I tried the vision board thing. I used to write out my little affirmations and stuff, but to be honest, I have found going with the flow is much easier and less stressful for me than any other method.
Yeah, I had some stuff on my vision board and it surely did not work out. So I don't
It
know.
may, but here's the thing about vision boards, and I'll share this very simply and quickly, is that vision boards are good and it works for those that need it. But at the same time, my question is, and how I look at everything as I always have, is what happens if this could be limited? Because in that power of projection, in that wishful thinking, that strength that you have of this is what I want. If someone's got a yacht and a Mercedes or a house or whatever it is it may be, that's all great. But what happens if there's something bigger out there for you? And that's just the way my mind is. I don't mind putting out an idea, but if I know something could be better, or I could be blessed with something else. And keep in mind, we as people change and evolve all the time, every day. So I actually stay away from anything that could create either a limited concept, mindset, or perception. Does that make sense?
It does. But what I find is when I interview people, I always ask them, when you thought about this venture or this, whatever it is that they're doing, did the reality exceed what you saw for yourself? And most of the people have said yes. And I think
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about, envisioning something for yourself, because we will never be able to dream up what the universe, God, whoever you believe in, has for you. I believe in God, but I don't want to push my beliefs on anybody else. But you can't even imagine what it could be. So I get what you're saying. And with the vision boards, yeah, I have put things, not really material things, but just like saying, oh, I want to have more experiences, like life experiences and things like that. And maybe a picture of someone, swimming or snorkeling or whatever. But I want the universe and God to take that and manifest it into whatever it's supposed to be, With all that being said, with your career, did it exceed what you planned for yourself, or did it turn out exactly the way you saw it or thought it would?
It would be the first. It turned out better. But to digress back to what I said before, because I don't premeditate and I go with the flow, I've learned a lot more, worked with people that I did not ever think I would work with, that weren't even on my radar of working with. Right. Having a magazine, having it syndicated, the celebrities and the people that have come to me, the relationships I've built through the years, and the support with even having Image Magazine International on the platform of in addition to my agency, even real estate. I continue to do things that are out of my comfort zone. I continue to unexpectedly do things that challenge me in a positive way. And I find that the moment, like even living here in Vegas, I at one time said to myself, I would not ever live in a city. I would not want to have anything to do with business or anything else. And this was probably about 5 years ago. And lo and behold, when I least expected, I was getting ready to turn one way. And all of a sudden, it just came out to where I paid attention to those signs. I listened to the intuition. All of a sudden, things in synchronicity started to point to Vegas. And I'm like in my head and I'm like, really? How Vegas? Who am I going to be? What am I going to do? I have friends here, but it's like Vegas?
Right.
It's all about gambling and drinking. I'm not into all of that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like an occasional champagne, but it's like, no, but I'm going to tell you, Vegas is a community. It is a city that I ended up, when they say, like when you meet a lover, it's when you least expect it. Well, that's how Vegas was for me.
Oh, nice. So you do like living there.
I love living here. It's to me, it's the last major city in the United States that hasn't been destroyed. And what I mean destroyed is it's not overpopulated. I love New York. Hey, I'm an East Coast guy. I love New York, but it's not in LA. It's not a New York. You really can't turn it into it. It's not designed to be that way. But with everything that's happening, to be quite honest, I really think, and I've been to. If not, I've been to almost every single major city you can think of from coast to coast in my travels. And I just think that Vegas is, being a entertainment capital of the world here in the United States, I think it's the last city that you can still drive down the streets and get somewhere, and it doesn't take an hour.
Right.
You have the freedom to really have a life and lifestyle here, whether it be personal or professional. But at the same time, it's picking up. A lot of people are coming from the East Coast in California and saying, I'm done with all the taxes and cost of living out there and coming here to Vegas. But I'll have to tell you this, Vegas has its expensive, you can get, cheaper rentals and property ownership can be cheaper, but, there are other things that are expensive here. So when it comes down to it, once again, I can only speak for Vegas. Vegas is a great city, but you've got to know your lifestyle and weigh out the pros and cons before you leave and go somewhere else. But it's the cost of living here is no LA. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, that's great. I love Vegas. I've been there a couple times, but when I've gone, it's been on vacation and it's hella expensive. And so
if you're on the strip, see,
right.
This is the thing. When I first came here, I lived in the outskirts of Vegas, and it's extremely cheap. But the strip is not designed, or let me rephrase, it's designed for tourists and for pricing for the tourists. It's not designed for locals.
Right. Got it. That makes sense. Have you taken in any shows since you've been living in Vegas?
I have. I yet have to see Celine Dion and Jennifer Lopez. I have not seen them yet. I did like the Carrot Top. Honestly, I did not expect I was going to like his show, but a friend took me and I actually really liked it a lot. Chris Angel, another amazing show. There's a lot of really, really good shows out here.
Yeah, I saw the Chris Angel show once, and when I went another time, Brittany was there, but she wasn't there. She was like on break. I was so bad because I wanted to see Britney Spears so bad, but that didn't work out.
Well, she's ending now. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be a permanent end, but this New Year's Eve is going to be her last run.
Ugh. Well, hopefully she'll tour someplace else, and I'll get to see her.
Oh, she ain't going nowhere. You'll be seeing and hearing about her. She's still young. She's still young and vibrant.
Yeah.
That girl's not ready to retire.
I love Brit. Do you feel like you are living in your purpose?
I do, but I will be honest. I do struggle or have an inner battle at times, or at time, thinking that I'm not.
Really?
Like I always strive for more. Yeah, I mean, like what plays in my head at time or from time to time is that I can be further.
Yeah, I love that.
Or I should be further. But I've come more at peace with it now than I would say even 6 months ago. I just sometimes think to myself that why am I not here?
I love that. That's so honest. That's really amazing. This is
in my head. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I feel like I should already have my TV show, to be quite honest, with the whole Matt Lauer thing that came out, and I have no problem saying it. I mean, it's all over the news. With my first thought was I need to tell him I want his spot.
Well, you better get on the phone. What's wrong with you?
Especially after he got $20 million. I'm ready to negotiate. Give me 10. Hey, I'll take 10. You can keep the other 10.
Yes.
What can we do? Put me on there.
You better, get on the phone.
When they say timing is everything, it really is. And I'm going to honestly say I am enjoying every day to every week, in every moment. I enjoy learning more about myself, being more patient with myself, and looking forward to being surprised. Even when I met you and when you reached out to me, it's like these golden nuggets. It's like, this is worthwhile for living for. And you just, once again, I used to have the materialistic mindset. I used to focus on brands, and at one time I had everything I ever wanted. But then I'm going to be honest, I was not happy. And even though I had everything I ever wanted, I was not comfortable. And what I mean by not comfortable is I looked around and I was like, okay, what next? And plus, at the time, I was living in New Jersey still. So, the fact of it is if I had what I had in Jersey here, it may be different. But at the same time, I was, I got lost at one point in the idea of what I think I should have in order to be. But I'm going to tell you one thing that is not part of my personality is needing to be a certain persona or a person to accommodate something else. I'm very, very much not of that style. So you will not find me playing some game to appease a group or a certain status. I actually naturally, do the opposite. But there is a sense of level of comfortability and expectation I used to have. I used to think to myself, where's my Mercedes hardtop convertible? And where's my 5-bedroom house with the in-ground pool? I've made a lot of accomplishments, but there are times, and I know where it comes from, but I used to just be very hard on myself, thinking that there is a certain status I need to live because being in this industry, you think I need to have certain material things and a certain idea of a status in order to get to that next level, or this person or this business or somebody may not look at me. And that goes with this whole number scheme and the way social media is. And, it's not based on talent anymore. It's based on numbers. And it's like, how can you determine talent out of 1.2 million followers? And then when you look at the profiles, they only have 17 or 25,000. Well, if you're going to have 1.2 million followers, then shouldn't you have 1.2 plus million likes on all of your photos and 1.2 million plus comments on your posts? It's like, it just doesn't make sense why any industry, but it's just the way it is. It's that what I call, fast food market, fast food marketing, do all the hard work and to get that sponsorship and those advertisements, fast cash. And that's where people are at. Forget the talent. Let's just get fast cash. Fast cash.
Isn't it insane? It really is insane. I mean, I can't believe that. I mean, I'm grateful for the new platforms in a way, because if not, I wouldn't be able to do this, what I'm doing right now. What I feel to be is my passion, right? But at the same time, it's like I'm competing with people who are like, for a long time when I started my podcast and my Instagram and stuff, like I didn't want to associate my account with a face, because I wanted people to pay attention to what I was saying more so than what I look like, or, because I feel like a lot of people, they go on social media, they're half naked, they're showing boobs, they're showing butt, and that's what's getting likes and stuff. And I'm not that girl, So I'm like, how do you compete with that? So it's really, I don't know. It's a tricky thing, but I totally understand what you're saying. What advice can you give to people who feel lost, or they just don't know where to start with their careers or their lives, or just like how you're feeling, where sometimes you feel like you should have more or be further, or there's more out there for you? What can you say to them? Or what do you tell yourself to get through those moments that you can share with us?
To not devalue yourself in order to find value in something or someone else.
I'm writing that down, guys. I'm not even going to lie to you. Okay. All right. That's amazing. I love that. I love great, words of wisdom. This is the Oh Hell No podcast. Oh, but before I get to the Oh Hell No moment, because we're having all of these scandalous things revealed, and you are a public relations expert, I'm going to ask you, without you compromising your business or, whatever, what do you think about all of these people coming forward with, all of these accusations and, stories or accounts of, sexual misconduct or harassment? Do you think from a professional, standpoint, do you think that most of the accused people, am I saying that right? Right? Do you think that they can come back from this? Like, clean themselves up and somehow get back in the game? Do you think it's really going to be difficult? What do you think without saying too much?
I'm not deflecting, with saying this. I'm just saying, just don't put yourself in that situation. If you know that there may be certain behaviors about yourself, just know that things will always catch up to you.
I think that's it. I think you don't even have to say anything else. Okay.
And here's the thing. I mean, what's out there is out there.
Yeah.
However, do your best not to be in that situation. And if you're in a situation where you're going to be meeting a model, an actor, or whatever it may be, have an assistant there, have somebody there. It doesn't mean you need to be paranoid, but there is a level of, I'm going to especially, modeling. There should be always more than one person.
Yeah, that's great advice. Even this might be TMI, too much information, people. But when you go to the OBGYN nowadays, there is a nurse that comes in with the doctor when you get an examination. And I've been going to the OBGYN since I was like 18. And earlier, times that didn't happen. It was just you and the doctor. But I've noticed that over time, all of a sudden this nurse is in there. And I'm like, well, what the hell is she doing in here? But it's for your own protection and his protection, or her. I have a male doctor, but so different industries have taken steps to protect themselves and the patients or clients. So I think that is great advice that you just gave for a model.
So there was a model that is doing some work here in Vegas right now, and he's staying at the New York, and he wanted to meet, and we met in New York. Now, I mean, I don't mind sharing this. I live on a strip, but I'm not going to invite somebody back to my condo. I don't care how well I know them or know of them, or even if they were referred by somebody that I know for 35 years.
Right.
And they're of age or whatever it may have you. For me, I like to be in a professional business setting and or some type of setting that is very neutral. Because in my opinion, and I have heard, people of the past, inviting people back to their personal space. And no, not if it's being met on, if you're meeting somebody because you're thinking about doing a collaboration, working, or just in general, just have common sense, have some, sense and sensibility of your environment and situations you're putting yourself into, especially if there's alcohol involved, or if there is some chemistry. If you know that you may be finding the person a little bit attractive, or the person may be finding you attractive, you can sense that. You can tell by body language, tone, all of that. Don't put yourself in a situation to be private with them unless you really clear the air. But, there are times that someone doesn't know how to take no for an answer. And even if you do express and are comfortable enough to be like, we're just going to keep this professional, it doesn't mean change up the routine and like, okay, we're going to keep this professional. You good with that? Yeah. No, you still meet them out in public, because you never know if some type of situation may arise in an accusation, false accusation, which can happen, does happen, can come out, and, because you let your guard down. So, really, it's not about being paranoid. It's just really, measure your caution well, and know that at any given moment, something can happen to where there's not a meeting of a minds or there's a disappointment. And you cannot always predetermine a person's reaction. And I'm going to give you something clearly here. I was watching, I'm not into, shows that are very, depressing. However, I was watching this one show called Survived or I Survived or something like that. And there was this older woman and she was kidnapped. And this guy, kidnapped her and didn't do any offenses, but the kidnapping was enough. Completely wrapped her body up in duct tape, put her in a trunk of the car, and just really just violated her in every way of her questioning, to the point to where she said she already planned in her mind that she was going to die and not make it through this. To make a long story short, it come to find out that she was able to, the guy left, she was in some type of like cabin or shed or something. She was able to get herself detached from the tape, and she didn't know if the guy was still outside. She couldn't hear anything, but she opened up the door, she walked out, there was nobody there, and she left. She ended up finding the road. Somebody with a truck stopped, was able to take her to the police station to safety. While she arrived at the police station, her husband got a call from her cell phone. Already this guy saying, "I've got your wife," and, demanding money. It ended up being a gentleman that worked for her husband for 6 months. It was a landscaping business. And the husband was, they were short work. So he had to let people go. It wasn't that this guy did some type of misconduct or did something wrongful on a job. He had to let him go. Well, this guy came out of the clear blue and decided to kidnap his former boss's wife.
Wow.
And, that's what I mean. It's not worth living in paranoia, but it's that whole thing. Like they say, one of my favorite TV shows is Big Brother. I know they got this celebrity version coming out this winter. I've been wanting to be on that show for a long time. But expect the unexpected. And
Right.
That's the thing. Like, don't put anything past anyone. Enjoy your time with them. Build those relationships. But, it can take years before you can, really let your guard down. Just go on your instincts. Just really do your best to honor your instincts, set those boundaries, and it's not worth living in fear. I'm not sharing that to, there's enough people living in fear, and I hope it subsides.
Yeah.
But at the same time, just set boundaries and know who you can trust, and once again, hopefully don't put yourself in a position to expect the unexpected, unless it's something good. If somebody giving you a call and saying, "You know what, I want to hire you," or whatever it may be, or somebody referred you and I need to hear no more. I've got to have you,
Right.
be a part of my team, whatever. And things like that can happen. That's happened to me. So I've gotten hired and people haven't even gone to my website or Googled me. They just heard about me or someone shared, a great accolade of their own experience or what they heard of word of mouth. And they were ready to, those are I love those type of clients. They're like ready to go. They're just so sure of it. They're confident. Let's get it done. I love that.
Right. But
So-
we're meeting at Starbucks, and that's where we're going to sign
Exactly.
paperwork.
And that, yes.
Yes. Be smart, people.
Yes. Yeah, don't be taking them to your home or inviting them to your beach house for a swim or barbecue.
Right.
No.
Yes. But Stephen, you can invite me over for Shams anytime. I will not get out of line because I am a married woman and I know my place. So I will not try you.
Oh, I know you will. We're good. We're good on that.
So tell me your biggest oh hell no moment to date. It can be something professionally or personal. And I know you have one. Everybody has oh hell no moment. Tell me.
If or when someone thinks I'm going to make an exception that could potentially go against my ethical and moral values. What do I mean by that is I had taken an oath in real estate and in business is to do 3 specific things. More than that, but the 3 specifics to the beginning of every relationship is to be fair, honest, and disclose all material facts. And if someone is wanting me to do anything criminal or to do something unethical or something that could hurt a company, a client, my company, me, my clients, anything across the board, that would be my oh hell no moment. Because the simple fact of it is that once again, to digress back to what you shared, Nicole, it will eventually come out in the laundry or the rinse cycle or in the dryer. How many times do we wash something? Here's the perfect example. When do you wash something and not know you had a stain or dropped something on you when you were out at dinner until you took it out of the dryer and be like, how the heck did that stain get there? Consider that.
So, with that being said, has anyone ever tried you like, hey, Steven, let's just do this? And you're like, no.
No, because I just have that air about me that it once I've been told and without being asked. And this is what's said to me from people, whether I work with or just meeting me. And I don't know why it just comes out, and maybe because they feel comfortable and happy. And I get told because of the how candid I am, is that straightforwardness, is the fact that, here's the whole, when I was sitting down with the model, just the most recent over at New York, he was sharing with me about his experiences. And he said to me, he goes, Steven, I can really tell that, he shared with me that he can be very persistent. He also shared that, he's, how they knock millennials and say things like the instant gratification and all that. Well, the whole thing, like that's part of his personality. But he said to me that he knows he can't be that way with me. And I said, I'm glad I didn't have to tell you that.
You are straightforward, Steven. I'll tell you that.
Because the fact of it is that if we're going to be doing business, it's like, I'm all about, hey, if we can get it done effectively, efficiently, and timely, great. But there's a difference between being responsive in a timely manner and reckless in an irrational manner.
Yeah.
So why not do something once and do it right? It costs more time, more money, and it's much more aggravating, and the quality is cheapened and depleted if you got to do it over and over and over and over again. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. So progress is learning and growing and elevating. And when you, just like when you said, when you were doing the reports, it's there to strengthen you, to help you be able to learn and establish additional tools of how you operate and how you process information so you can effectively deliver high quality and good or great. I was going to say great, but however your interpretation is, great, excellent, profound, exceptional performance. That's the whole point. And do it in a way so then you can do 5 projects instead of staying on 1 or 2, because you're constantly have to re-edit and edit and edit and edit over again. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
So that's where it begins with me. It's not about manipulating or coercing or trying to, insinuate to advocate something in an unethical manner to be done. Just do it right. Do it in a way to where if you're working with copyright, if you're working with intellectual property, when you're working with brands, there is a legal responsibility to it. It's just the law. It's not my law. It's the law. And if you're not following copyright, intellectual property, showing and validating to a client that their best interest and their 30, 40, 50, 100, 200 years of their hard work, that's a quality, reputable brand. Do you think Amazon, Google, Apple will let somebody recklessly come in and sabotage those brands when they're a multi-billion dollars
No way.
and investors at stake and shareholders? I don't think so. So just consider that. That's my mindset.
Well, that's a great mindset to have. Well, Stephen, it was a pleasure having you on the Oh Hell No podcast. You dropped a lot of gems.
Thank you. And we did it in under an hour.
Yes, we did. We did it in under an hour. And I want you to tell us where we can keep up with all things Stephen.
All Things Steven is at StephenCuoco.com. StevенCuoco.com.
Excellent. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.